Hi, my growing brainies. So, your Grammar Buddy Mini is once again back with you to take your journey ahead at grammar. From your platform, Learn Forward, and we are together with your grammar book, The Grammar Hub by Feathercaps for Class 5. And we'll be starting chapter 9 of your book today that talks about the pronoun. Already learned? Definitely we are going to learn something more. What's new today in this session? Let's see. We'll have a quick review exercise here. Underline the action words or verbs in the following sentences. So let's just pick out the verbs here. The soup tastes salty. So what's the verb here? Perfect. The children jumped into the pool. Yes, you're right there. Jumped is the verb. Stars twinkle. Yes, twinkle at night. So this is the action that is going on. Priya wrote, good, a long letter. And we went for a walk last night. You are perfect. So that means you know very well what all are actions in verbs. Now we are going to learn ahead with verbs. Verbs are not only actions. I said this is a very important topic in grammar because verb is an essential part of a sentence. Whenever you write a sentence, a verb has to be there. We know about the different parts of speech. We have learnt about nouns, pronouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions, interjections. But we can frame a sentence without any part of speech except verb. It is that important. So let's try to write something here. I write, I am a good student. What do you say? What does your knowledge say? Is it a sentence? Can I put a full stop after this? Okay, so you say this is a sentence and I say if there is a sentence, a verb has to be there, right? So let us pick out the verb from this sentence. What is the verb here? Am. Yes, you are right. Am is the verb. But you said verbs are actions. So is there any action in this word am? Any action going on? No, there is no action. Then how is it verb? That means the definition of verbs that we know is not complete here. Verbs are not only actions, verbs also include the state of being. That means they also include the words that show existence of something or someone, right? So when I say I am a good student, I was a good student, I will be a good student, it shows my existence, the existence of the subject I. So these are all verbs and they are not actions, they show the state of being, right? So one more thing added to your definition of verbs. Let me write one more sentence. You have a new pen. Now what do you say again? Is this a sentence? Okay, so let me put a full stop here. Yes. Now your definition of verb. Let us pick out the verb from here first. What is the verb here? Have. You are right. And let's now write the two things that you include in verb. You said verbs are actions. I added it as the state of existence, the words that show existence, the words that show the state of somebody's being. Now, when I say you have a new pen, does that mean that you, is there any action? No. But does that mean you exist like a pen? No. Then what is this third thing which is included in verbs? It is showing possession, children. So there are some words that show possession and they are also verbs, right? Now actions, we know there are so many actions we have been learning from grade 1 and some of you might be learning from kindergarten. And then existence. What is included in existence? Let's understand here. In existence, we use the words is, are, am in present tense What is the past form of these words? Very good. So you got a kickstart for it. Was, were is perfect. And in future, what do you use? Not only will, shall, children, we use will be, shall be. So the words that I have written here, these all are the forms of be. We say these are the be form of verb. Right? In different tenses, we use the different words, and depending on the subject, it changes its form. So these all are the be form of verb. Now, coming to the next that I have told you, possession. In possession, we include has, have. In present, okay, tell me what is the past form of has, have? That's perfect, only had. And in future, what do you use? Will have, shall have. Perfect. Will have, shall have. And all these are called the have form, not has form. The root form is have. Have forms of verb. Is that okay? So now your definition of verb is widened. It includes your actions, it includes the state of existence, state of being, and it also includes the words showing possession. Is that clear to all of you? Just remember one thing, there cannot be a sentence without a verb. And you know, you'll be excited to know which is the smallest sentence in English, you know? Just go. We can start it with a capital letter, we can end it with a full stop. Go. This is an imperative sentence, and what you see here, just a single verb. This single word is a verb and it has a complete meaning. It is a sentence in itself. So the word verb stands alone to make a sentence, but if you talk about all other 7 parts of speech and they come up together without a verb, they cannot frame a complete sentence. Remember that. So verb is that important in a sentence. So if we have the sentences, Hina is a sweet girl. So what is here? That shows you the state of being. It is the be form of verb. Lord Krishna has a flute. So this is again the word showing possession. It is the have form of verb, right? So this is all that we include in verbs. So was that interesting for you? Can we move ahead now? Okay. Going ahead now, we'll be learning about another interesting thing, that is the two forms of verbs. One is transitive and one is intransitive verbs. Children, what do you mean by transitive and intransitive verbs? You have already learned, you are familiar with the words subject and object. So can we just recall what is the subject in a sentence? What is the object in a sentence? Subject, if we relate it to the verb, subject is the doer of action and object is the receiver of action, right? So based on that definition, we'll just differentiate between transitive and intransitive verbs, right? A very brief word that we can associate with transitive and intransitive are, intransitive goes with independent, you can say. So your intransitive verbs are independent. In what sense they are independent? We'll just learn ahead. I'm trying to give you an introduction here about the transitive and intransitive verbs. And here in transitive, in is missing. So we will remove in from the independent word also. That means your transitive verb is dependent verb. Now, as the words suggest, you know the meaning of dependent and independent. Now, we need to find out what is the verb depending on, what is the verb independent of, right? We need to understand that. So, the verbs that depend on object in a sentence. That means without the object, it will not give a complete meaning. And if the verb gives complete meaning without an object also, then that becomes an independent verb. That means an intransitive verb. And you need to note down one thing here, that we don't have any categorization of words here, so that we can put some words in a list under the transitive category and the other verbs in the list under the intransitive category. How and what it means is, let me take a simple word fly. Okay, so if I write a sentence here, birds fly, so do you think it's a complete sentence? Yes, birds fly. Even if you write birds fly in the sky, or you do not write birds fly, what next? There is no, like we cannot say that the sentence is complete. So if I stop here, birds fly, it's okay. Birds fly is a complete sentence. I can stop here. But what if I say children fly? Or if I say pilots fly? Now, if I stop here, are these two giving you a complete meaning? Can we say these are also sentences? No, because children cannot fly and pilots also cannot fly. But yes, they can fly something. And what is that something? That word, that something will complete your sentence. So, how would you like to complete the sentence? Children fly what? Perfect. Children fly kites. You can say children fly balloons also. You like playing with them, right? And if I say pilots fly, what would you like to add here? Yes, they fly aeroplanes, they fly jets. You can add anything. Now, when you talk about this word, it was independent in meaning. It did not need any word to complete it, right? But when the same word I talked about in these two sentences, you needed a word. You needed something to give a complete meaning to it, right? Without these words, it was giving an absurd meaning. Because the children do not fly, the pilots do not fly on their own, but they make something fly. So that something is the object, right? So the question arises, what do children fly? What do pilots fly? And the answer to the question comes from these words, which make an important part in these two sentences. So the same verb fly in these two sentences will become, because it is dependent on the object, so this is transitive verb. And here, because it is independent of the object, so here we say it is intransitive verb. I hope the difference is clear to you, right? So let's read some examples here. The birds build. Now we are talking about an action the birds are doing. What is the action now? The birds build. And if I stop here, do you have some question? Do you like to scratch your brain? Oh, what do the birds build? You are curious to know ahead to complete the sentence, and that curiosity is settled down by the word their nests. So this is needed. It means this word, the verb build, is not independent. It is depending on something to give a complete meaning. So which word is this? Which verb is this? It is transitive verb. Very good. Just remember from the words in. Intransitive is independent, and then the transitive is just the opposite. It is dependent. The player kicks. Now again, if I stop this, you will be again scratching your brain to know. You'll be curious to know, what does the player kick? Yes, and the answer is right here. So this is giving the complete meaning. So the verb again is dependent on the object. So what type of verb is it? It's transitive verb. Is it clear to all of you? Was that easy to understand that way? Can we go ahead now? Okay. Now we'll be learning about object of a verb. Object is the word that gives the complete meaning to the verb, and it gives an answer to what, who, whom, like this. His brother works. The sentence is complete in itself. So we say this is the subject and this is the verb. Now if I write the sentence, I extend it, I say his brother works for a bank. So here For a bank is the extension of the sentence and this is the object. I can write it ahead like his brother works for a bank and I'm telling the place also. So your object is an extended object now, right? So this tells you more about the action. Now going ahead, we'll be learning about the kinds of object. We have two kinds of object. One is the direct object, the other one is the indirect object. So direct is the one on which the action is happening directly. For example, and what is the easiest way to find it out? You put a question what or whom. If you get an answer to what, your this object is direct object. For example, if I say I sent some books, my question will be what did I send? I sent some books. So the answer to the question what is coming from these words, some books. This is the direct object of the sentence. Similarly here, Akhil repairs. Akhil repairs what? What does he repair? He repairs toasters. So these words are giving an answer to what? They are direct object. But sometimes a sentence might have two objects like I sent some books to Rajesh. My question can be to whom did I send some books? One question. The other question can be what did I send to Rajesh? So when you are getting an answer to what, that forms the direct object of your sentence for your verb. But when you get an answer to whom, for whom, that gives you the indirect object. So here, when I'm talking about the verb sent, some books is the direct object and Rajesh is the indirect object. Okay, let's extend the next sentence also. Akhil repairs toasters for the neighborhood people. Now, what does Akhil repair? Repair is the verb here. What does he repair? Good toasters. So, it's giving an answer to what? So, this is your direct object. And for whom is he repairing? For whom does he repair the toaster? For the neighborhood people. So, when you are getting an answer to for whom or to whom, that gives you the indirect object. I hope this difference is also clear to you. So till now we have learnt about transitive, intransitive verbs. The intransitive verbs are independent verbs and transitive verbs are dependent on the, they are dependent on the object in a sentence, right? To give their complete meaning. And when we turned to the object, we have again two types of objects. One is direct, one is indirect. The direct object gives an answer to what, right? Whom, and then the indirect object gives an answer to whom or for whom. Let's write one sentence here. The teacher, they always give a lot of homework to the students, isn't it? So let's write a sentence. The teacher gave us a lot of homework. Right? This is your sentence. Now, how many objects do you see here? Or first tell me what are the objects here. So, to pick out the objects, we will first pick out the verb. Pick out the verb here. What is the verb here? Gave. That is perfect. So, this is your verb. Now, to pick out the object, what question you have to ask? Very good. What is the question? So, what did the teacher give? What did the teacher give? It is a lot of homework. Now, when you get an answer to the question what, is it a direct object or an indirect object? Direct, you are perfect. So, this is direct object. Now, the next question that I have to ask is to whom or for whom? So, to whom did the teacher give a lot of homework? To whom was the homework given? To us. That's perfect. So here you are getting an answer to whom. So now this object is indirect object. See how easy it is. You could give the answers perfectly. Got it now? So can we move ahead? Okay. Now coming next, we'll be doing the Examples of intransitive verb that I have already explained. Like if I say Mohan walked, walked, it's okay, it's giving a complete meaning, so it is independent, it is intransitive. The child cried. There can be some words after that also. The child cried the whole night, the child cried bitterly, anything. But what we have to check is, if we stop after the verb, are we getting the complete sense? If yes, it is independent. That means it is intransitive. And if you are curious to know something when you stop, that means it needs some words to be completed and it will be transitive verb, right? So let's read more examples. Mary laughed. Again, it's giving complete meaning. So this is intransitive. The river flowed. It's fine. It's giving complete meaning. So again, this is intransitive verb. So I've already told you how to differentiate, how to find out the difference between transitive and intransitive verb. If it's clear to you, can we move ahead with an exercise? Let's check your knowledge. Okay. Underline the verbs in these sentences and you have to write whether they are transitive or intransitive. Okay, let's first pick out the verbs here. Come on, quickly give me the answer for the first. The coach blew. Yes. Now, tell whether it is transitive or intransitive. So just find out, is it dependent on some words or it is independent? It's dependent. It is dependent on what? His whistle. Perfect. So that means when it is dependent, it is transitive. Perfect. The boat sailed smoothly. What's the verb here? And even if I don't say smoothly, is it giving complete meaning? The boat sailed. Yes, that's perfect. So this is intransitive. And moreover, smoothly is not an object, children. That is also a point to be noted. For transitive verbs, we need objects to complete the meaning. Okay? She delivered. So, what did she deliver? She delivered the cake. Object is needed. Your curiosity is arising, isn't it? So, whenever you get curious to know more, it means it is transitive verb. The children played a prank on him. Yes, the children played what? The children played a prank. So, again, this is transitive. Finally, we all played. Now, here the same word played, but it's giving complete meaning. Here, played is used in the sense of just playing, that you play some sports, some indoor games or outdoor games, right? So here this is giving a complete meaning. So the same word here becomes, good answer. That's perfect. It becomes intransitive in the last sentence, though the same word was transitive. As we checked out with the word fly, same is here, right? So this is proved that the verbs cannot be put in categories of transitive and intransitive. It is their use in the sentence that helps you find out whether it's transitive or intransitive. Got it now? Let's move ahead. In the following sentences, underline the direct objects and you have to circle the indirect objects. Okay, let's do. See, the same example I gave to you. The teacher gave us homework. So, gave us what? Homework. This is direct. And gave to whom? To us. So, this is your indirect object. I hope this will be easy for you. Okay, let's do one more. We ate dosa for dinner. So, we ate what? We ate dosa. And for what? For whom? Is not giving an answer here, right? So, this will be all. We are not giving to whom or for whom, right? Next, please send me your photo. Please send me your photo. Send what? Your photo. So, this is your direct object. And send to whom? Send to me. So, to whom or for whom is giving you an answer here. This is your indirect object. So, an object, if it is there, the first preference is for the direct object. Like It has to be there. If you have two objects, one can be direct, one can be indirect, right? But if there is only one, it will obviously be direct object. Now the next two, I hope you can do yourself. So this was all about transitive, intransitive verbs and direct, indirect object. But that's not the end of verbs. We still have a lot to learn in verbs, which we'll be looking ahead in the next session. So till then, happy learning, children.